Hey guys, welcome to group chat. You know when we used to say, we stopped doing this, and I think we made a huge mistake. We used to say, welcome to the number one podcast in the world.
Yes.
And we stopped doing that. And the fact of the matter is, we are the number one podcast in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the good news that the number one podcast in the world has to share with you today is we are not in a recession. No matter, your eyes might be deceiving you.
Yes. GDP does not matter. Inflation does not matter.
No.
It's what matters is what you believe. Just remember that, kids.
We're
Just
in the
remember that,
metaverse,
kids.
guys, and
We're
girls.
already there. Zuck is just
metaverse,
visiting us from the future.
booming.
He's already a trillionaire. And so, yeah. So, I don't know who else you would trust if you didn't trust the number one podcast in the world, but we actually have a really great episode for you today because we're at all-time highs.
Everything's on the up and up.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. We have an interview with Don Cannon.
Yep.
Legendary in the music industry and now has a new app that he is coming on to chat about. And then, of course, we're going to wrap it up with our winners, losers, and content. You know what's funny is this week we kind of have a content not to watch this weekend episode. We have anti-recommendations.
Oh, my God. There's unbearable content out there.
Dee's devastated. Dee has an hour and a half of his life that he's just dying to get back and can't.
Yeah, I got to watch an hour and a half of TV all week, and it was like time was stolen from me.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, talk to Zuck. So you might be able to get that back. Let's get into it.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Guys, don't believe what you read. We
Why?
are
What's
in
going on?
a recession. Don't let the people
Depends
lie
who
to
you
you. Don't
ask.
let the man lie to you. Depends who you
So we
ask.
talked about this a little bit
Bullshit.
on the last episode. Joe doesn't think we're in a recession. And then
Well, Joe
the Federal
doesn't want
Reserve
his
chairman,
voters to think we're in a recession.
then the Federal Reserve chairman said we're not in a recession yesterday in his press conference. I mean,
So what changed?
if we want to say history should be erased and just ban the history books, maybe we should ban the economic books too. So let's get rid of history and economics.
Ban
So-
the dictionary.
Ban
What do you need
dicks.
that for?
You can
Those
get
are pretty
canceled
much
for
already
that.
banned.
Yeah. What's
Those
interesting
are on
is
the edge.
they announced the GDP
Contraction.
contraction of 0.9% for the second
For the
quarter.
second quarter in a row. Got it.
And so that's 2 quarters in a row, negative GDP.
That is
which
a recession.
that's what, since I've been alive, that's what has been a recession. Now, it's not a recession.
What's changed?
Nothing's changed. These guys are morons. The
man.
White House is
Our last
filled with
episode.
morons.
But the Federal
Our
Reserve
last
is saying
episode
it
was
too.
so good.
The Federal
Yeah.
Reserve is saying it too.
They're morons. Who is the Federal
They're
Reserve?
morons.
I've never even
I
heard
mean,
of
yeah,
these
they just-
people. Who are
Yeah,
these
they
people?
just do whatever.
But whatever they say swings the markets, trillions one way, trillions the other. So we have a bunch of morons dictating
Yeah.
the wealth of the world.
Dude,
I mean,
we've
we've
always
learned
had a
that.
bunch of
These
morons.
guys didn't
Yeah.
know what inflation was.
Yeah,
They don't know, like the fucking Federal Reserve doesn't know
anything.
what inflation
It's
or a
actually a
recession
joke.
is.
It's literally like they're taking. So you know how like Donald Trump lost the election? He's like, no, it was stolen from me,
Right.
and we're going to take it back. We're not in a recession.
It's the same
That's
thing.
it.
Dude, let me tell you, I was in Vegas last Friday night for Mikey's birthday. And it was
Mhm.
late. Everyone had a lot of cocktails in them. And, we have a degenerate friend that will remain nameless that was
Yeah.
with us. And he just likes to push people's buttons and see how crazy people are.
Yeah.
So we're sitting at Allegro in the Wynn. And he kind of senses the bartender's MAGA.
Yeah.
And he
no.
just started pushing because the election was stolen, wasn't it? And the
Oh,
bartender
no. I can't believe he
walks
doesn't
over.
get tired.
The bartender walks over, takes off his glasses. They did steal it from us, didn't they?
Yeah.
I-
You're
I-
goddamn right it was stolen.
I think it's like way more of a thing than we realize sitting in Los Angeles and the people we talk to.
For sure.
I think there's a large percentage of the population that believe the election was a fraud.
By the way, they might be right. Federal Reserve.
I'm going to be honest. Who knows?
Federal Reserve said we're not in a recession.
Do you remember? I know most of our listeners are probably too young for this, but remember the way they were counting votes in the Gore George Bush?
They would look at a hole in the thing.
It was like a complete
Hanging Chad. What do you mean a hanging Chad? I never heard of a hanging Chad
And
until
no one
who's
questioned,
Chad?
like, hey, this seems like a really inefficient way to determine who the most powerful person in the world is.
Yeah.
We're just going to have a bunch of older folks sit in like a hot room in Florida.
Yeah, determine the fate of humanity.
It's wild. It is funny.
That's
Think
why,
about
I mean,
how much that swayed the outcome of the world.
Yeah, trillions
Think
was
about
spent on Iraq and Afghanistan. Trillions. And how many people died on both sides? Like,
W.
I mean, it is insanity.
We wouldn't have gotten Vice.
I don't believe anything.
if they didn't steal that election. That movie.
Yeah, it's a good
That's
movie.
true. Yeah.
And there's some good
It's a great
documentaries
movie.
about the hanging chads.
This is why people become radicalized, like on TikTok. And I mean radicalized, not like a terrorist, but I just mean like a conspiracy theorists, crazy fucking Alex Jones lovers. I get it.
Yeah.
If I lived in Alabama and hated my wife and kids, was just chugging Bud Lights, I'd go full conspiracy guy. Why not? Nothing makes sense.
And do you know, we've talked about this many times, how it's crazy that the administration doesn't bring in, even the Federal Reserve, bring in the CEO of Google, Amazon, Apple, Walmart, Tesla, the biggest home builders, and say, like, what's going on in the economy? Can you tell us? Like, why isn't that
Instead,
happening?
They make them the enemy.
And then I watched Chairman Powell's full press conference and all the questions that were being asked. With all due respect to these journalists who are really good journalists, I don't think most of them worked in the private sector for 15 to 20 years to be the people qualified to be questioning the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Shouldn't it be a bunch of people from like finance firms that are like, hey, what about this? That actually understand in great detail of how this impacts the world?
We'd be better off if it was a group at one of our live shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let them ask.
I
The whole
just
thing's
can't
a joke.
believe. Yeah, I mean, and now yesterday, Federal Reserve raised interest rates by another 0.75 basis point. Stock market ripped for no apparent reason. There's not one good piece of news, data, whatever.
Priced it in.
And then today, wake up, stock market rips again. No apparent
Priced in.
data, except we're in a recession. Nothing's changed. And so I'm sure you could be like, oh, well, the Federal Reserve is now indicating that blah, 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 whatever. It's all bullshit. It's such bullshit.
So I don't know if history is going to repeat itself, but April 2020, when everything was closed, the Federal Reserve just started pumping money in, and it was just like unfathomable that like Live Nation doesn't have concerts going on, but the stock's up 6x.
Uber doesn't have cars. Airbnb doesn't own real estate. Live Nation has no concerts.
They're all up.
So my point is, once the real economy starts getting crushed, which is going to be the second half of this year. So basically between now and the rest of the year, we haven't talked to any like entrepreneur that's like, wow, we're absolutely crushing it.
Nobody.
And when the real economy really starts getting hurt, that's when the Federal Reserve starts pulling back, and the trillions of dollars that has to be invested by these fund managers comes back in. So many people were sitting on the sidelines the last 3 or 4 months because they were like, when's the bottom? It's a falling knife, blah, blah, blah. But right now, what the market's indicating is all these hedge fund and mutual fund managers that manage trillions of dollars are coming in right now. The only reason the market goes up is if the demand exceeds the on the other side of the sellers and price goes up, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. The opposite always kind of like whatever should make sense, kind of the market does the opposite.
Yeah.
And that's a function of just when the money starts flowing in, not what the real economy is doing.
Yeah. Economy does not matter because we're not in a recession, and you could just say you can believe whatever reality you want. That is,
Yeah, we were
Elon
right.
Musk
That's
is
what we
always right.
said.
This is a simulation. You
Yeah.
could do it. The United States government is basically telling you, yes, you have no money in your pocket. You're probably going to lose your job. Food is going to be through the roof. Good luck filling up a tank of gas. But guess what? Things are good.
Things
Guess
are great.
what? Amazon stock goes up.
Yeah. Recession or not. Revenue
If you want
not
it
so
to be
great.
true, just say it is.
Yeah.
That's what you do in 2022.
It's really, really wild. And so interesting headline also was it said mortgage rates fall and interest rates were, rose yesterday. And mortgage rates are a reflection of future, not actual.
Yeah, so it's basically a curve of what people think the interest rates are going to be. So I think it peaked at almost 6% mortgage rates.
Yeah.
So what this is indicating is people think the Fed is close to being done.
Yeah.
And that the Fed may even cut interest rates next year. How like logically backwards is this? The Federal Reserve now thinks that they have to crater the economy, so they're going to raise interest rates till the economy is in the shithole. And then in the first quarter, the economy is going to be so bad that they're going to have to start cutting interest rates again. So what are we doing?
We're just fucked.
It doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
No, it matters for average people. They get fucked. When your mortgage rate, if you have an adjustable mortgage rate.
How are they even supposed to track this? How are they even supposed to you're just caught. The average person that you're talking about is just caught in a fucking vortex that makes no sense. And even the people steering it are just adapting day by day.
Yeah, think about if you have an adjustable mortgage on your home, condo, regardless of what it is, your monthly interest rate doubled.
Yeah.
That is
And
that can cripple a family.
And you could have easily checked in back in whenever, I don't know, fucking January or something. And you hear them saying, oh, inflation is transitory, nothing to worry about. Don't worry about it.
They said that in December. In December, they said inflation is transitory. I vividly remember so many smart people on podcasts and interviews were saying inflation is going to be through the roof. Yep. And the smart money left the stock market in the fourth quarter of last year because they knew. Why isn't the Federal Reserve talking to those people?
Because they're morons.
Because they're fucking
morons. You know what a moron is? They're a
against each other. Yeah. Half mo. Half wrong.
But the problem is it's the average person who doesn't understand this dynamic. They're the ones who get crushed.
Every time. And the thing is, what I'm trying to get at is I understand why you would go crazy because let's just say you have your mortgage, you checked in, December, inflation's transitory, no big deal. Yeah, babe, let's schedule that spring trip. We're going to be fine. And then you get smacked.
Yeah, if you have an interest-only adjustable mortgage rate loan, you are in the shitters.
Yeah.
And they're telling you it's not even, you're seeing
You're not in a recession.
Because
there's a chance
is wrong.
The Democrats lose every single seat.
Yeah.
100% is of the house.
Think how bad you have to be to I don't think this abortion thing is going to be enough to fuck up the Republicans.
Nothing is going to fuck up the
streak.
Republican. No.
And think about that. That should have been they should have handed over November with that. That is so stupid. And people are up in arms. And I think the Democrats are handling everything so poorly that is going to be that wasn't ideal, but.
I at the end of the day, and I'll always say this, if people can't support their families, everything goes out the fucking window. Yeah. Straight up. It doesn't matter. That's all that matters. If right now people don't feel safe and they can't support their families, how can you have any confidence in any leadership in our country? If that's, you wake up and you're scared to get robbed, or the gas station is robbing you.
Yeah. You want to know the new thing I heard?
You can get robbed twice at a gas station. One at gunpoint and one by the gas. One by gas.
Anyone past 9 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. The price of gas and a human being can rob you within 5 minutes.
It's very likely. I heard that the new thing in LA, I didn't hear this hands-on, but from people I know, is that for the first time ever, LA is just handing out concealed carry permits like crazy. Like it used to be so hard to get a concealed weapon permit in LA. You had to be like really in danger. Like, oh, I handle large sums of cash. I work at a jewelry store, whatever.
Yeah.
I heard now they're just handing those puppies out.
Oh my God. It's literally going to be like, a Western out here in the streets.
Yeah. Just shootouts on fucking
Blazing
Beverly
saddles.
Drive. Yeah. Not after what I just paid for gas.
Yeah.
You're not getting my Rolex.
I mean, if what you're saying is happening, all the more reason if you have road rage, you calm down. There might be someone with the
I am
concealed.
not. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I'm not starting shit. I'm not responding to nothing.
No, yeah. I don't even
There's no
like
way.
looking people in the eye anymore.
It's actually really bad for just like this happened in March and April of 2020, where everyone was terrified of each other because they thought the other person's going to get you sick. Now I'm terrified the person has a gun and is going to shoot me.
Yeah. It's a valid fear.
Like if someone's like waving you down at a gas station, you get in the car, you just get the fuck out of there.
Leave the keys. Yeah. Just run.
If anyone's pissed at me on the road, I don't engage in nothing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but that's a pretty bad. I mean, I would say I feel pretty confident that is what's going on. I've heard it from some people that are just getting them and that had tried to get them in the past. But it's just, I understand why people lose their mind, man. I used to feel, a couple years ago, especially before Trump, I would kind of feel like if you were one of those like conspiracy, crazy, don't believe the government people, like, okay, you lost it. You went a little off the rails. Now, I don't see how you wouldn't if you were, one of those people that Anand was talking about, like, for instance, that's just been pushed around. Like, if you got the short end of the stick in 08 and then all of this stuff happens, and then like how do you not lose your mind just on TikTok?
Let's take someone like who, let's say, voted for Trump in 2016, voted in 2020, got Biden as president, and like think about it, just put our views aside, from their view of the world is their guy did not win, potentially got the election stolen from him. Okay.
Look at D. D's a stop the steal guy.
Stop the steal.
Yeah. He's starting to believe.
Okay. So, maybe
if you want to find company, go to the bar at Allegra.
Okay. I'm sure I can go to any bar and I'll have plenty of friends who believe the same thing. I'm not worried about having support on this. Any idea, by the way, any idea. I could come up. There was a really great article or a Twitter thread about someone that broke down all the liberal conspiracies and all the conservative conspiracies, and how much of each group believes both conspiracies. Like whatever like whether it's climate related or whatever it is, or stop the steal. But my point being is if let's say you're a Trump voter, you voted for him 16, you voted in 2020, this guy's telling you the election was stolen and that he's a better president than Joe Biden. Okay. Let's say that's what you believe. Then, Joe Biden becomes president. You get that first stimmy check. You're like, okay, the guy's not that bad. It's fine. Whatever.
Not bad. Haven't seen him in a while. All good.
Then, in Christmas, we start seeing like a little slowdown. We start seeing supply chain issues. Nothing is really resolving itself. January comes. Ukraine war hits. Gas prices start going up. Inflation is like here now, and you don't have money. Then gas prices go through the roof. Inflation goes through the roof. Crime goes through the roof. What is that person thinking? Like, how angry are they?
Get laid off.
And then now you're going to get laid off. That's what's going to happen between now and the end of the year. Mass layoffs are going to continue. I mean,
you're on TikTok. If that happens, you're on TikTok and Reddit, and you're trying to find answers, and the answer happens to be something terrible. The lizard people.
Yeah, and I think I just can't I can't comprehend what the White House is trying to do here in terms of strategy. Like, their job is to win in November, right? Like, they want their people to win. Are you just banking on this abortion thing only? and hope
I think
that
they just think people are morons.
yeah, they
And like
do
the
think we're
strategy
morons.
isn't like address it and fix it. That's way too hard. We only have, a handful of months. Instead, let's just say it's not here.
It appears that Democrats think January 6th is the only thing they have. Like doing all the hearings, all the tapes getting released, Secret Service deleting text messages, and they think you can go to Georgia, Florida, Pennsylvania and campaign on that.
No fucking way.
I just
can't get anyone to the rally because they can't afford
Wisconsin.
gas.
True.
There's got to be one smart person, and the Democratic Party says, you know what? Only thing that matters in the world is money, and if they don't have money, they're not going to vote for you. Straight up. Like
and security, just security, and like how are you going to eat and be safe? That's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the strategy here, and I'm not like obviously in politics, but like, why not like be a little bit more strategic here on? And here's the thing. Well, let me ask you this: if you're like a diehard Biden person, do you believe it's not a recession? Do Democrats believe in general it's not a recession? I don't identify with either party anymore. Both morons.
I think a large group of people don't know what a recession is. They just know it's bad. They don't know the technical definition. And so even though things are bad and it feels tight, if you hear, oh, we are not in a recession yet, you're like, okay. I think a lot of people take that at face value.
Really? So you're not even looking at like, damn, I just have less money in my bank account. I went to dinner and because here's what I'm seeing is that spending is falling off a cliff. So clearly it's affecting in the last 60 days, no matter who you talk to, their business has fallen off a cliff.
Yeah.
So does that mean
I think the hope is you can lie until November. Like you can so maybe I'm going about my day. Things are tough. Gas is expensive.
I'm gonna lie till November.
Exactly. And if I think like, okay, but there's no recession, then it's about to get better. And if I can just keep my vote on it's about to get better. Once you say we are in a recession, inflation is at record highs, interest rates are being boosted like never before, there's a war going on, we're spending millions of dollars on it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, okay, maybe I should choose the other guy. I really think that's it. I think that I also think that like the way things used to be is you could get away with this a lot more because there wasn't like so many smart people like on social media and you could listen to and read these really well thought out takes. And, the moment they say we're not in a recession all of Twitter today was like, all right, well, that's fucking stupid. And I just think in the old days, it was like, that's it. That's all you hear. Like,
but most people are not on Twitter. Right? Like most of America is not sitting on Twitter. So we're seeing it, but like your average person isn't on Twitter. They're reading the newspaper and the newspaper says, Joe Biden said, we're not in a recession.
Yeah. I'm curious.
Or it depends what newspaper you have.
Right. Yeah. It depends. If you have the Wall Street Journal, it says it's a recession.
Yeah.
If you have, I don't know, an MSNBC daily update, there's no recession.
Yeah.
I just think we've finally gotten to the point where the internet actually does, like there's enough people on Twitter and that are tuned in that you can't lie like that anymore. I think you used to be able to. I think it's an old tactic. I mean, Donald Trump got fucking thousands of people to physically storm the capital of the country off of like Reddit boards. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Where did those people come from? That shit wasn't on my feed.
I guess everyone has their version of reality at their house.
Yes.
Like they wake up in the morning and there's people like waking up in the morning right now saying, these are the best times ever. And there are people that are waking up saying, these are the worst times ever. And there are people who are waking up and it's not so bad.
Under the exact same circumstances.
Yes.
So if you take a family of four, that makes a...
Wait, let's do this. Family of four, two families of four, they both make the same exact amount of money. Yep. Let's call it $100,000 a year. Okay. Two families of four. They are waking up with completely different realities.
Yeah, completely different views of the world. Because if you look at any Republican opinionist, the country's burning down.
Yeah.
By all accounts. Like record inflation, gas prices, this we're spending $50 billion on this war. Like the world's falling apart. That's every Republican opinionist. Every liberal opinionist says Unemployment's at a record low.
Yeah. We're not in a recession.
We're not in a recession. Companies are sitting on record cash on their balance sheet. The good times are back, baby. Two different worlds in the exact same country.
Maybe they are back. Maybe I
There was
was
a couple times
again.
today. A couple times today, I clicked on tweets.
If you want to be positive, be a Democrat today.
Yeah.
If you want to be negative, be a Republican today.
Yeah, Democrats are booming.
I mean, they're back. It is whatever you say it is. So you know what? Things are roaring. I clicked
tomorrow,
on a couple.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said, if you wake up tomorrow and you're not feeling good, be a Democrat. Business is booming.
Yeah, you're fine. I read a couple tweets, there was a couple of these posts about not in a recession, and I clicked to see the responses. And there's a good amount of responses that are like, guys, relax. You know, Biden inherited a really tough situation because of Trump, and it takes time. We just got to stay on course. We are going in the right direction.
Yeah,
I think is probably a very popular sentiment.
Yeah, so then that's right. So however effective Donald Trump was to his core, Joe Biden is effective to his core.
I mean, the same thing happened 2 years ago with COVID. If you lived in a liberal city, you took it seriously, you masked up, and you were living safe. If you lived in Florida, you were like, there's no COVID.
Yeah, and turns out they were living safe too.
Yeah, my point is, it was the exact same thing as now. Like, some people think the economy is great. Some people think the world's falling apart.
Life is choose your own adventure. If you want to feel like you're in a recession, be a loser. Feel like in a recession.
Go ahead.
Or you can live in the boom world with the rest of us.
Booming. Times are good. Cash is right around the corner.
I can see it. I can see the cash rolling in.
No, it's the same thing that Trump was able to do to the Republican base. Look at like the actual rural base. Look, you've been left behind. Everyone fucked you over. I'm going to come turn around. They were all like, Donald's saving us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's bringing
it's just crazy
jobs.
When you see it. Yeah, you're right. It's just crazy when you see it. Like when you see we are not in a recession. That's like, whoa, you guys do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, dude, fuck. Yeah.
That's wild.
It's scary to literally just change the definition. And then you get everyone on board, like get the Fed on board, get these people on board to try to make a case.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the Fed and Joe Biden are at least in cahoots together because they say that we're not in a recession.
Yeah.
Joe Biden says we're not in a recession.
Yeah.
But what does like George Soros think? He's one of the biggest donors of the Democratic Party in history.
We're not in a recession.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
So one of the most successful guys in financial history will agree with Joe.
He doesn't give a shit. He knows what he knows. He's going to make money. He's probably shorting everything under the sun.
Yeah. No, he's going long now. You got to go
probably now.
Opposites.
Yeah, you got to go opposite.
Yeah.
Maybe we just will ourselves out of this. It doesn't really matter.
Out of what?
Yeah, exactly. Times are good.
What are you talking about, D? Don't be crazy.
Everyone go upgrade your living situation.
I mean, their Urus are on sale from Ali, so I might go get a Urus.
Why not? Things are good. The cash is coming. You see that little, what looks like a storm cloud up ahead? That's cash.
That's money.
That's money.
I might get
about the rain from the sky.
I'm going to get a Urus, and my license plate is going to be no recession.
Yeah, good times.
Good time.
R.I.P. bad times.
R.I.P. bad times.
R.I.P. bad times. You want to know who's seeing some good times is Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, apparently Amazon, they just released earnings. They beat on sales, which I want to see the breakdown of where the hell their sales actually
don't worry about that.
Don't worry, the stock's up 12% in after hours.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. And then
we're fine.
They posted a net loss. They lost $2 billion.
But it was less than expected.
Yeah.
Not a big deal, dude. You're asking all the wrong questions.
Yeah, I mean, my guess is Amazon's e-commerce business can't be good.
But I bet you AWS is on fire.
Yeah, that'll get cut next. What do you think people are going to do? They're going to cut their... If you have less traffic to your website because you have less sales...
doesn't matter.
Hey, too many questions. Too many questions. There's a rumor, apparently a leak, that they're going to do a second Prime Day.
Yeah.
That's because the first Prime Day probably didn't do good.
No, exactly. The first Prime Day was bullshit. It was bullshit.
Hey, everything was great.
I mean,
It was so good, we deserve 2. That's it.
here's the reality about earnings. It doesn't matter. I don't even know why I sit and read this and then why we even report it. It's all fake. I just talk about live golf. You know something interesting.
When the stock market was going at the lowest of lows, and this is like April, May, everything I owned was down at its bottom. The whole market was getting crushed. I just kept telling myself the psychology of people is people want the stock market to go up. So eventually this will end. And I don't know if it's in 30 days or 60 days. And I feel like people have turned the corner. They're like, the market goes up now. And it doesn't matter what the data says.
Oh, yeah, it's already over. I mean, we're already up. 2 days?
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to keep ripping.
And not to be, that was being facetious, but there's trillions of dollars and been sitting on the sidelines. The managers who manage it get
Relax,
paid.
Sleepy Joe.
That get paid. All I care about the stock market.
Yeah.
And
up.
People are paid to invest that money. They don't get paid to sit in trillions of cash. Get in there.
Put it to work. What are we waiting for?
So everything's booming.
I mean, I told Jordan to buy ETH at 1,000 2-3 weeks ago. He's up 75%.
Wow.
Jordan's rich.
So you're going to quit your job like Pete?
Yeah, see you
I'm buying
later.
a Urus.
You're buying a Urus. He's buying a Urus.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
You're us, my us, whatever.
But like we were talking about, crypto is on absolute fire.
Absolute fire. No apparent reason.
The money, I mean, the reason really is because
Gotta
all
deploy.
Gotta deploy.
The shit that blew up in the last 2 months, like all the Celsius, Voyager, what's the BlockFi
3AC.
and 3AC, it's all because of leverage. Leverage got unwound, and it appears that all the leverage is gone. So now it's back to typical buying and selling, and not like if people are selling, it doesn't just spiral completely downward. Now there's actually like a market, how it should be.
Yeah.
Boring.
So
Let's get some leverage back in the game.
yeah, so I mean, like that's what's going to happen next.
Now
So
the leverage is going to come back in because they want to juice their returns.
yeah, I mean, you're up 70% in a month.
If you had leverage, Jordan, you'd be up 10x. How's that sound?
You're a bit of a pussy, huh, Jordan? You're a bit of a pussy.
Imagine if you had 10 times the amount of money you have now.
Wouldn't you like 10x?
I would love it.
Yeah.
I know. All you gotta do is click a couple buttons on Robinhood.
Now that you have so
Get
much
some
ETH,
confetti.
where are you storing it, Jordan?
A ledger, of course. Where
Gotta be
else?
safe.
Oh,
Nice, Jordan.
That's the thing. All those people on Voyager and Celsius, you know, they could have avoided getting liquidated if they had moved to cold storage and moved it onto Ledger.
Well, the problem is
not the leveraged ones, but there's people
There's
that
people that didn't.
were not levered that got wiped out for no
they
reason.
pledged their tokens to get this imaginary 14% annual return, and they actually weren't the ones levered.
Exactly. They got punished for no reason.
Yeah.
If they weren't staking it, they could have easily just swapped it into their ledger and been completely safe. So go check out their new ledger.
Too much work.
NanoX, Nano S Plus.
Yeah, go get yourself a ledger, man. Don't get
get liquidated.
I mean, I mean, you really
too late.
People, someone I know recently just got into crypto. What's interesting is I didn't, just looking at people's behavior, before they actually bought crypto, they bought a ledger.
Smart.
I was like, whoa, that's actually pretty forward thinking.
That person's not levered.
Cool.
Let me tell you.
The thing is what you would normally do is buy crypto, get hacked, lose maybe 50 grand.
Yep.
Then go to ledger.com and buy it. Before you buy crypto, you should be buying a ledger first.
Yeah, people get smarter in tough times,
Yeah.
All it takes for Bitcoin to be back at 50K, the leverage is going to be through the roof.
Oh, instantly. Okay, well, let's get back to it. Times are good. Bring the leverage back. What about the Zucks? Everyone's talking about Zucks today. Everyone's talking about VR. I mean, I just saw on my feed, I saw a lot of tweets about VR being stupid, about this being a terrible bet by the Zucks, going so hard on VR and the metaverse and spending so much company money on it. Obviously, he has huge competition from TikTok. I don't know if you guys have seen, there's a huge petition, like a huge uproar going on Instagram. Even Kylie Jenner reposted it, who's, the queen of Instagram, about, make Instagram again and stop trying to copy TikTok. The app sucks now. So, I mean, the Zucks is getting hit from all angles here. Stock's not doing well.
They released earnings yesterday, and obviously they guided very poorly. They missed on revenue, missed on earnings. They think there's a potential. Wall Street was estimating a $30 billion of revenue next quarter. It's somewhere between 26 and 28 is now what they're estimating. So they're clearly feeling the pain of like the cutback. But I think people can stomach that and say, okay, that's macro conditions, whatever. The thing, if I was like a major Facebook shareholder, is this guy's all in on the metaverse.
Yes.
He is like talking about, that this is the future. It's going to unlock hundreds of billions, maybe even trillions of dollars. Like I don't know what universe this guy is seeing, but I mean, he's not, I guess he lives in the same reality. He lives in whatever reality he wants to because he's so rich. He's saying this is the future. And look, if you could sell it to Wall Street, then fine. Obviously the stock got clobbered, but like, I don't know. Maybe he knows there's something we don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be, I tweeted this, that like betting against Zuck at 36 years old, where he still has his fastball. It's not like he's 80 like our politicians. Yeah. Like his brain's humming.
Yeah.
And he's clearly like figured out the future of technology like multiple times over. And I agree. I have no idea what Web3 and Metaverse is going to look like, but I would not bet against this guy.
I would only kind of bet against him. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I don't think the guy's going to zero in any way. But if I had to say, I do think this is a bad bet.
So they spent $2.8 billion in their metaverse.
They lost $2.8
Yeah, they lost $2.8 billion in their metaverse. So he's all in. He's going for it. That means it's a run rate of like $12 billion that he's willing to lose this year just on that. I know it's a very profitable company, but I mean, lighting $12 billion on fire, he's either going to be the most right and become even more legendary than he already is, or it's going to look a little ugly.
If he's right, he is legendary on such another level. So my bet would be that he is going to course correct, be wrong, take a big L, but he'll still figure out the other platforms and ad revenue and all that stuff. I don't think, like I said, I don't think he's going to lose here outright, but it's just my bet. If I had to place a bet, I think Metaverse at this rate, at this time, is I think he made a mistake.
So we had my close friend Amit Mahajan on probably 10 months ago to talk crypto. He's just super brilliant technologist, engineer. So there's been a lot of people dunking on Facebook, on Twitter, like you said about the AR, like, oh, this is stupid, it's for dorks, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And those are people, investors in Silicon Valley saying that.
Dorks.
That meta, it's just kind of ironic. Their whole job is to find the smartest dorks. And they're just saying if you're an AR.
You just don't build things for dorks. That's what they're trying to say.
Violence going on.
So he, in our group chat, we posted a couple of the tweets of like super kind of influential people shitting on the dorks. And he goes, I thought it was pretty interesting. He goes, reminds me of people diminishing quote unquote computer nerds or people that play online video games when I was younger. It's bully behavior and gatekeeping. And honestly, it's a strong signal that'll probably work out.
Dork.
Sounds like a dork.
That's what a dork would say.
I'm telling you, just history repeats itself. Everyone thought the internet was stupid in 2000.
I agree.
In 2000, it was stupid. It was stupid. At that time, it was stupid. It obviously evolved into something more useful. In 2000, it was just porn and stealing music.
It just reminds me of 3D TVs. Remember when every TV was 3D TV and you go to Best Buy and it was 3D TV, and literally no one gave a fuck.
But that was Sony, not Zuck.
It's true. They're smart guys over there at Sony. They're sharp. We'll see. Look, no one knows, but if we had to bet, my bet is just that I think this is like too much too soon. I think there's a lot of money wasted. I think there's a little bit of a course correction that happens down the road, and Facebook still dominates. But I don't see this being a seamless path into like 3 years from now. Wow, we were wrong, and they're making trillions of dollars from the metaverse. But I don't fucking know.
All right.
Anything can be true. Or the metaverse is already here.
Maybe we're living in it now. That's why we're already making up our own reality.
Ah, God damn it.
We're here.
Zuck is visiting us from the metaverse. We are actually in it.
Yep.
I'm going on a vacation this weekend.
Where are you going?
Wherever the fuck I want. I'm rich. No recession.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take my
Smacks
Urus.
out that credit card.
I'm going to take that Urus out for a ride.
Biden
You
said
should
we're
fly
going to be
private.
all good.
Yeah.
We're
Fly
fine.
private.
There's
Yeah,
no
fuck
recession. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Business is
Jobs are
booming.
great.
You should fly private to Santa Barbara, to the TmrO airport like Kylie does.
It's the 5-minute flight.
Yeah. It's a 4-minute flight.
It. Yeah.
I actually have to go to Carmel this weekend. For a
Fly
wedding.
private.
Fly
Fly private.
Pidget. What are you going to do? Drive? Gross.
I was going to drive.
Disgusting. That sounds like recession behavior.
Yeah.
Van Nuys is close to you.
I know. That is recession behavior.
Yeah. Stop.
You're only poor if you tell yourself you're pour.
Yeah.
We're only in a recession if
I've
you
been
say
telling
we're-
myself I'm poor for 6
Well,
months.
you gotta flip it.
Okay, you know what? From this day forward, I am rich.
There you go.
There you go.
If you're
Okay.
poor, don't come around me.
Yeah. No chance.
So
What?
rich mindset.
That's it. You just got to keep yourself in the bubble. That's the key.
Rich D.
Sounds like a rap song. Okay, we got an interview. Let's get to that, and then we'll wrap it up with our winners, losers content. Who do we got?
We got Don Cannon, legendary music producer and now founder of the TmrO App. And it's pretty cool. Pretty cool story that he has. And then the app itself, if you're in the entertainment industry or in the creative space, I think you'll enjoy it. He's live from Atlanta.
Great. Let's do that, and then we'll get back to winners, losers content.
All right, everyone, we got a special guest here right out of Atlanta. Actually, my birthplace, Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey, that's what's up.
Yeah, unfortunately, I moved out right away. But Don Cannon here. The great thing about Don Cannon is like, if you listen to music, you probably rap specifically, you probably listen to his mixtapes. I mean, I definitely used to listen to all your mixtapes back in the day.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, they were great. I remember the first person I met in the mixtape game was Vlad, DJ Vlad.
Snap. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, another legend in the game.
Yeah,
He
like
moved
I remember
around
like
for a minute.
2002 or something like that. He was dropping CDs and I was getting them, and we ended up becoming good friends. Well, it was great to have you on the show.
No doubt.
I know you recently launched a new app called TmrO, but I wanted to just kind of talk about your background and how you actually got here. How'd you get into music?
I went through this with a lot of people, telling them that my mom called me somewhat of a prodigy because I started at 5 years old. I got my first turntable at 3. My first
Wow.
gig was at 5 years old. So I've been doing it since then. It's
What'd you
sort
do?
of
The
like
Chuck E. Cheese?
Well, I had an aunt, she had a wedding, they didn't have a DJ, and I wound up DJing it. I only had a few records, but I wound up doing it. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Yeah, I was young. I
And
did
then-
some school parties, church parties, and then, I ended up rapping and making beats like around 9, 10, 11 years old. And it's just like brushing my teeth. I just, I stuck with it.
And then what was like? I mean, to find that kind of passion at that age is pretty crazy. Like, I mean, obviously when we were younger, we just loved sports, but like, I think we realized by like 12, there was no future in sports for us. It was more of just going to be a hobby.
So quickly, I did the same thing. I actually wanted to be Shaq. Like I wanted to be Shaq. I wanted to play basketball and do music. The hoops didn't pan out.
I want to
so-
be Michael Jordan. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's funny. And And then at what point did you actually realize music could be a career for you?
When I went to college, I didn't know going to Atlanta was going to, be a home for me to start in the music industry. And when I came down, I just was basically coming down here because I had family members at each school. And the AUC, it's 4 schools. There's Morris Brown, which no longer. You had Clark, you had Spelman, and you have Morehouse. And you had the surrounding schools. You got Georgia State, which is, still like cool school, Georgia Tech. A lot of these schools are down here, but the main AUC center, like I had a cousin that went to Clark. I had a cousin that went to Spelman and one that went to Morehouse. So I was just like, man, I'm going to go where family's at. So at least I know people, you know what I mean? So when I came down and I realized, oh, it's musical people here, you know what I'm saying? So I just got in a groove. I just got in a good groove out here,
And then at what point did you actually get into like, putting out mixtapes and then obviously getting into production and then like launch your career? What was like the defining moment there? How did that happen?
The defining moment was, I built up through school, just doing school parties and basically I needed a calling card just for people to know who I was. And the only way I could figure it out was to come up with some type of tape. Because, in high school, I had mixtapes. I've done them 16 years old. I was just, doing blend tapes to make money so I can get Timberland boots and, the new pennies and Charles Barkley sneakers. That was my hustle. Like everybody in school had to have the Tommy Hilfiger khakis. And I was in here with the hagglers. I had the hagglers from JC Penney's. And my mom was like, I can't afford that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I just was like, I had to figure out a way to do it. I did any and everything to keep my fashion together. In Philly, we didn't have no tax on clothes. So I know if I'd have made it to $99, that's how much the Timbs cost at the time. It was $99. That's all I needed to get a fresh pair of Timbs. So I would hustle with the tapes. And that carried my hustle into college where I was like, yo, you need a calling card. People are coming to see you. They still don't know who you are. They just know you're killing it. But I basically had to make, mixtapes as like basically as a, here I am. You can stay with this CD and, follow me in all the parties. I had my SkyTel pager number on the back of it. And you could just keep in contact. You hit me, I hit you back, tell you where I'm at next. So it was basically that, I keep calling a calling card, but really a business card. It's a calling card, but a business card. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. Like you had like, basically it was pre-internet marketing, pre-social media. So like people forget like how hard it was to actually build a following back in the day. Like you were like, text me your information and I will text you back and let you know where I'm going to be at. Today, people just post something on Instagram and they just assume people are just going to show up.
Yeah, I mean, AUC is a magical place. Like even in, I don't know how they do in
what
most
is AUC?
Schools. The AUC is the Atlanta University Center. So basically, when you go into historically Black colleges, they're usually by themselves. So you have Howard in DC, you have Morgan in Baltimore, you have Cheney and Lincoln, they're in Pennsylvania. You have, Florida A&M and LSU. So like in Atlanta, we're the only cluster of schools, whereas Spelman, Morehouse, and Clark, we all share this area like a campus. So they call it the AU Center, which is the Atlanta University Center. So, one thing I learned from there, and I don't know how other schools have, they teach you the basics of life besides books. Like when I got there, they was like, yo, as 18 years old, you're going to need a network. So I had to just, once I found that out, I was like, I have to find out my network. And once I found out my network, I knew I was always going to be able to tap into it and make some money. So giving out my SkyTel pager, at the time, I think there was Nextel, chirp phones. I would just give out my number and my, it was like a little messaging email. And I just would keep in touch with everybody. Anybody I met, I just wanted to keep in touch with them. And it was just a networking thing for me to be able to be a salesman for whatever I had, the parties, the tapes at the time, anything. I just needed to have that, Rolodex rolling for me to, keep my business going,
That's wild. Like, I think like I built my business the same way. Like I call it like hand-to-hand combat, like basically driving all over the country, developing relationships with stores, and then eventually getting them into all the stores.
Yep.
And I think so many people, like, you know, when they think of networking, they think of like Instagram DM is
For sure.
networking. And I'm like, that's the laziest shit. Like, that's not, especially like, I'm assuming I know I get so many DMs. There's only so much I can get to. And what are you going to DM me to get my interest that's going to actually get me to want to like engage with you? And whereas in real life, if you walk up to me, you could have 30 minutes of my time pretty easily.
And that's the key. Like where we were coming up, I always had a chance to be in front of people. If I had 30 seconds of your time, I could sell you a well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's all I needed. Like if you gave me longer than 30 seconds, oh man, because I was so gifted with being able to speak to people. You know, I wasn't the annoying person. I wasn't the person that was super persistent, but I was the cool guy that made you wanted to hear everything I had to say from some standpoint. So that's where I just learned it. But it doesn't work that well over DM or over text, because if you think about it, it's so impersonal. Texts and emails, it's impersonal. When you're in person, it's like, oh, I like this kid. I like what he's doing. He has a great smile.
Music.
She has a great smile. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Especially in like music or fashion or any creative industry, you work with who you like. That's it. Like if you don't like them, you don't work with them. Straight up. Like you could be so talented, but if you're unbearable, I have this thing called the LaGuardia test that someone actually told me one day about, and it was like, pick the person where if you got stuck at LaGuardia Airport for 6 hours, that you could stand hanging with them, having beers with them and hanging with them. If you can't, don't pick that person. I use the LaGuardia test for everything in my life. If I can't be stuck at LaGuardia Airport, which I know just recently got remodeled, but it was a shithole.
We've been stuck 6 hours.
Yeah, with those people, and like it was fine. It's like it's so important that like you work with who you actually like. Would you say that's how like you broke into music, like especially with all the artists you worked with?
Yes, for the most part. But you know, a lot of people didn't take to my energy as well. Like, you know, a lot of people were just like didn't want cool. They just wanted somebody to be mean faced all the time. You know what I mean? So it was just like the cool guy's like, why is he being so cool? He wants something from me. So, you know, I had to go through that too. You know what I mean? But these people don't buy into that. It's like, he's too cool for a reason. He's trying to get me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I worked with artists based on some of that, but
I get that.
You know, it's hard. It's hard in music, especially in rap. It's like you don't trust anything. We come from a whole culture of being disrespected to the point where we're not getting into certain places. We're not doing something. So it makes us all rebellious in a way where we don't accept the first thing coming, you know? So, you know, I had to run through that,
that's
but
crazy.
You know, the journey is great though.
Yeah, that's incredible. And like, who are some of the artists that, you know, our listeners would know? I know the list, but I would love for you to share it with them that you know, you're like most proud of working with.
I mean, we worked with them all. Like when we first started, like we have a label now, Generation Now, which we have Uzi, Jack Harlow, Seti Hendrix, Illuminati, which is big on social media, Carvina, Sunny Digital, which is, you know, a legend in the production game at a young age. But, you know, before Generation Now was a mixtape. We started in 2003. It was for artists that couldn't be seen. And some of the first people on them joints was Kanye, Joe Buttons, Corey Guns at the time, Stat Quo, which was signed to Eminem, Joel Santana. These are all artists just trying to break in, even in different networks. So, you know, like Joel Santana was popping up north. He had Boston, New York, Jersey, Philly, but couldn't tap into down south or couldn't tap into the Midwest as fast. So we was the liaison to that, because what people don't know is how smart in marketing you have to be in order to make things go globally. So we had it easy because me and Drum had the AU Center. Going back to that, Atlanta was a melting pot of people going all over the world. So when we made a tape and it had Joe Buttons and Dwells and Cam and Wayne and all these people on it, they were taking it, going home for the summer from school and going back to their respective homes. So you could be in Minnesota with this tape. Now everybody's hearing it. Your friends and who you went home to, California, Seattle, you know what I'm saying? Anywhere in the world. So we had a melting pot, people taking these tapes back to their areas. So these artists are getting hot doing that. So, you know, while we were doing that, we worked with Slim Thug, we worked with Pharrell, we worked with Tip, of course, Ludacris, Jeezy, Gotti, any artist in the game we've worked with, you know, all the way down to some of the people that gave up on rap and just turned into entrepreneurs. Like we worked with dozens of artists. We helped careers from every standpoint. You know what I mean? Every standpoint.
That's amazing. And so full circle, I feel like that's what TmrO App is.
Absolutely.
The new app that you launched.
Absolutely.
And I was spending time on it this morning, and it's pretty fascinating because like if you were, you know, if you just like showed up in LA and you're an aspiring musician and you wanted to shoot a music video, how the hell would you even do it? Or how would you even record a song? Or it's like, you know, you have to figure it all out. And it's similar to like, you would go to Shopify if you want to launch an e-commerce site and everyone knows that's what you do. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's basically what you're doing for creatives. Yeah.
And you know, it's a creative marketplace, but some of the pain points that made me create it was the fact that I constantly was on Instagram and these other platforms and people posting up, yo, I'm in California. Anybody's a hairstylist, DM me. Anybody that's a producer, DM me, engineer, whatever. That was one pain point. The other one, it was just people just not knowing how to get to the next step. Like you could YouTube to death, you could go study, you can look on Instagram all day. It's still not going to give you a direct bullseye on how to make a product. You know what I mean? You could copycat, you might not get it all the way legitimate, but I'm trying to get to the point where I'm giving people a platform to find every little piece until it's time for distribute. You know what I mean? And it's important because I tell everybody all the time, I did all these Shot Money XL, speaking engagements, or, you know, any place that I went. The A3C is one big one in Atlanta. I went to all these speaking engagements and people would stand up at the end and be like, hey, anybody have any questions? And people would stand up there. Their number one question was, yo, how do I get on? Or how do I find somebody to produce me? And only thing I could tell them was, man, just keep working hard. You're going to get there. And that's a terrible way to go out. Like, I didn't know that at the time because that's how I did it. You know what I'm saying? But people walk away like, you know, they get charged $150, $500 max to hear somebody speak. Like, I want to be able to give somebody some real answers. So being up there and just saying work harder, it's not like a great answer. So, you know, what's all of those pain points together was like, yo, how can I come up with something where it's helping people find the creatives like them that can help them produce, help them mix and master, find a videographer, a photographer, and, you know, and just, you know, a lot of these people have money to do it. They just don't know where to spend it. You know what I mean? So we made this platform for that.
And then I think it's also like it's like validating that they're legit, right? Like, you know, everyone says they can do something, but how do we know that they can actually do it, right? That's a fact. I think that's a big part of it. So from a service side, so it's like everyone from videographers, photographers, hairstylists, sound engineers, producers, it's everything, right?
It's everything. And I'm looking to expand too. I'm looking to get marketers. I'm looking into getting lawyers, entertainment lawyers that's on the come up. I think that's very important. And, you know, I try to stay away from press and distribute because there's so many platforms that allow you to do that. You know, I just want to be able to help people create a team. You know, a lot of people don't have a producer. A lot of people maybe living in, don't have those outlets in those cities like Wisconsin or certain places. I'm trying to add value to those cities because they have so much talent. They don't have the outlet to get there. They always going through, I can hook you up with Canon. Give me this amount of money and I can call drama. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, it's always that space is always a middleman to it. And it's just allowing people to be the true entrepreneur that they are. You know what I mean?
Got it. So if you want to get the app, I downloaded it on the App Store, TmrO. And then if you want to become a service provider, is it just apply through the app, or what's the best way to do that?
So you can be a service provider through the app. You just you go on, sign up. First, you download it from the App Store. And for everybody that has an Android's coming soon. But if you go on the iOS, which is obviously the iPhone or the iPad, you could download it, sign up, set up a portfolio so everybody can see your work, and put your categories up there however you see fit. That's for creatives. Now on the client side, there may be labels, independent labels that don't have those in-house people as well. You can set up as a client or a creative. The clients could be buying. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing too, where you don't have to be a creative to be on here. You can be looking for creatives. You know?
Yeah. And I think that's obviously a need for so many, especially like anyone coming up in the entertainment space doesn't have all the resources already. Like they're constantly, like even to this day for photo shoots that we'll do at 5-4, we're still looking for a hairstylist. We're still looking for photographers. It's like last minute, you're still trying to find people because someone got sick or someone can't show up that day. So it seems like there's always a need for it.
Yeah, it's remote as well. It's a space where everybody has to be educated, for the most part on where you can go. That's the only thing. Like the issue is where do I go? Nobody asks, how do I do? It's more like, where do I go? So we're showing you where to go and keeping it all in one space. A lot of these platforms also focus on social because social is so big. With us, it's just all about business Rolodex. It's how I started, just building it and building it and building it. It's good. You don't have to go in there and just you chopping it up with somebody. I got to hang out, have a beer and all this. This is like complete work mode. You know what I'm saying? This is complete work mode. You ain't got to date nobody to get their services. It's just strictly work. You know what I mean? So I'm happy about that too.
And is the business model like the service provider shares is like a percentage of revenue, or how does it work?
Yeah, so you share a percentage of the revenue. Right now we're working on different rates, but they're super low. Based on the transaction, and it's needed, to keep the whole app going. But the pain point is really just getting people what they need. Like we got thousands of creatives on this joint, like just looking, and then we got clients. It's like, man, who did this artwork? I'm going through it now with Uzi. Like we're getting artwork from different people or videos, and nobody can find these people. You know what I'm saying? Where are they?
I mean, and that's crazy. Like, and Uzi is like, he's the top, right? Like in terms of like music and creative, and you guys are finding talent on this app. Like, I mean, it's incredible.
That's it. And keeping it, and we're paying people. The second part to that is when you're on social media, like you're on IG, Twitter, and all this, and you go through the DM, and people send you work through your email. Like once you like the product, you got to chase them down for your money. You know what I'm saying? Like creatives don't even get paid. Like for the most part, like it's hard to catch people. People block you. It's like, damn, I did all this. They blocked me. I got a deposit, but I didn't get my back end. You know what I'm saying? So like when you're engaging on here, like our initial setup was like tomorrow, get paid as fast as tomorrow. So it's like, as soon as you finish the job, you hit pay, that shit goes out to them. And that's another.
Well, that's such a huge pain point. I know so many friends in the industry that never get paid for shit. It's crazy.
Yeah, I went through it. I didn't get paid for a lot of beats, but it's all good.
Amazing, man. Well, congratulations. Are you guys self-financing this, or did you guys raise money?
Yeah, I'm 100% bootstrapped at the point. Like it costs us a lot of money to put up, but I believe in it. I feel like it's a unicorn. I feel like it's a niche and people can use it. We're staying out of different people's ways. Like I said, we're staying out of the distribution spend where, this could turn into United Masters is all that. I'm just subtracting and teaching people how to do the direct things. It's like finding the all basics. The pieces. Yeah. So we're getting out of the way. I'm self-financed. We're paying for everything off the hip. Soon we'll be going into VCs. It's important. It's an important step. We did crowdfunded with Start Engine for a little bit because I felt like that community needed to be involved. As we came up, a lot of us wasn't able to be, focus on getting some money to Dropbox or Uber or Lyft for that, or Amazon at that point, because we weren't accredited, investors. So I feel like I wanted the community to have a chance at stabbing, especially during COVID. It was like we didn't know what was going on in the world. People just like, hey, I got a couple of dollars, let me invest just in case. So we threw it out there and let a lot of people invest in the app, which is, getting some shares and, just getting involved. And I felt like that was important. The community got a chance to invest in something without having to be like, hey, you're not accredited. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's incredible. That's incredible. Well, if people have questions, where should they go? Should they go on the website, the app, or how should they engage?
You can go to TmrO site, the TmrO.app site. There's tons of questions. Customer support on there. You can email customer support at TmrOApp.com. It's so many places where you can find, information on this. You go to our social media pages, which you'll see what we're actually doing. But the web, it really tells you a lot. You can go in there and look up all the information. It's important,
Yeah.
It's great.
Congratulations, man. This is super exciting.
I appreciate that.
Next time you're in LA, come through so we can we'll have a host of creatives waiting for you to pitch you, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. I see that liquor on the side too. We could have a party.
I would say if you create an app for a marketplace or partying, that's where I would thrive.
My wife is gonna kill me for saying that. She's like, "You talk about liquor?" Nah, I just kill it. I just go.
All right. Well, congratulations. We're so happy you're able to stop by and check it out. TmrO app in the App Store.
Yes, sir.
And we're back. Let's wrap it up. D, who is your winner of the week?
My winner is the economy. We are just absolutely on fire.
Booming.
Stock market's booming. Crypto is booming. I don't even know why people even say recession. It's
Great.
stupid.
Yeah.
I haven't heard the word recession really since the last recession. What's that, 15 years ago?
Losers.
Okay, yeah, fair. Anand, who's your winner?
My winner's me. So I got
what are you
onto
up
our
to?
TikTok. I was perusing all the clips these guys post of me, and everyone tells me I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Whenever I talk about the economy, I like riling people up. The winner is I'm getting impressions. So the more clips that Jordan and these guys clip of me talking about the economy, the views are great.
Yeah.
And everyone tells me I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I think
No matter what we say on TikTok, first of all,
well, if you said yo, Dogecoin's lit.
yeah,
I
People
feel
will be
like
like,
I'm
yes, someone who
certainly
gets
not an
it.
expert, but I think I'm qualified to talk about the economy.
Yeah.
not according to TikTok, you're an idiot.
Yeah, the best
You're a
thing we
loser.
can do is, according to TikTok, you're an idiot and D's fat.
The idiot and fat brothers.
I think that the best thing we can do for views is probably just give pretty
Opinions.
certain, strong opinions, and actually probably that are as close to accurate as possible, because that seems to get people the most riled up.
Yeah.
I feel like TikTok comments are what Instagram comments used to be. Like everyone is triggered.
Yeah.
It's really toxic there.
Yeah.
It's really bad there in the comments. That's good though. Fuck it. My winner just came off the press here. Apple. Am I right? Am I reading this right?
Yeah,
Revenue, 83 billion. Estimate was 82.7. So beat revenue. Earnings per share, $1.20. Estimate was 116. Unstoppable.
I mean, it's pretty crazy that so I would say that what I remember we even mentioned this in a TikTok once where I said Apple is a luxury brand and everyone's like, "Rah!" It's 100% a luxury brand.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted a phone, you can get a phone for $50. But no, you want an Apple phone and that is a luxury item. And it's like the rest of the economy. Luxury is faring well. Even LVMH had reported their earnings. They're fucking ripping. They're ripping.
Yeah, the headline is Apple iPhone sales are resilient.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. iPhone is basically like water.
You need it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that literally if you probably looked at like the American, we'll just say American consumer that's getting squeezed, what the priority of their spending is, I bet you they're like having a working iPhone is probably like above a lot of food choices. Like I bet there's people who skimp on food so that they can, before they would give up their iPhone.
No one wants the green bubble.
No. I'm in a lot of conversations with green bubbles.
Really?
Yeah.
Who do you hang out with?
Not luxury.
Business conversation.
Like
you
a lot of
you
business.
just said no.
I think it's.
broke
I mean, I
around
think it's
you.
given the industry. Ghost is in.
We have
A lot of green,
they're poor?
green bubble
No,
industry.
you're in an off-price industry.
Yeah.
What's off-price? That's not luxury.
So they're bought their phone discounted?
Yeah, that's true. You know, maybe it's like it's a bad look. It's like off-brand to have a blue bubble. You know what I mean? It's like how they work on fucking doors at Amazon or whatever. You got to live it to the core.
All right, so Apple's booming.
Apple's booming.
It's, what's also interesting about Apple, how they still continue to absolutely crush, is that the last 3 iPhones aren't that different. Unless your phone's cracked or fell in water, there isn't a real reason to keep upgrading, but everyone keeps doing it.
I think most people now, this is just from what I gather, most people now just bake it into, they're on that plan where you
that's true.
bake it into your bill and you just get the new phone.
I guess it's similar to when we had Ollie from Car Trackers, who, what's funny, I just looked at the comments with his, everyone's like, oh, this guy knows nothing about cars. Meanwhile, he's selling like fucking millions of cars. I mean, TikTok is just filled with morons.
Yeah, you're not an expert until you're called an idiot on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, what are we, losers? D.
My loser is Zelensky.
Wow.
For Vogue?
Yes.
Ugh.
He did.
It was such a bummer.
Yeah.
Him and his wife did a Vogue spread. They look great, by the way. They look fantastic.
They look awesome.
They're very
should have
good-looking
done
people.
that, like in 3 years, depending on what the outcome of this thing was.
But in the middle of a war, you have time to shoot a Vogue spread?
Yeah, and people
Vogue,
are dying.
It's not
both
like you're
sides,
like...
Yeah,
it's
Time
not like it's-
magazine.
Yeah.
And you're talking about you're looking glamorous while your people are fucking dying.
Oh, it's so bad. And they have like soldiers as props.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is what, like, how do you expect us to get behind this? And you're doing a Vogue spread.
Even if you would have done literally, do a Vogue spread, but it's like Zelensky and his wife like taking photos of each other, like with their phones or something. Like, don't have Annie fucking Leibovitz.
Or like be on the front lines.
I know. I'm just saying, like anything other than a glamorous fashion shoot with soldiers as props by Annie Leibovitz. What are you doing?
I cannot. Annie Leibovitz shot it too.
I think so. Let me see.
Oh my God. It's so obnoxious. It's so who does their PR? I mean, great for Vogue, a good look. Everyone saw it, but like terrible for him in his country.
Yep. Hold on. I just want to confirm because I'm Annie Leibovitz.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay. So I agree. That was such a bummer, man. It just feels, I don't know. It feels like what used to be like the right side, like, okay, support Ukraine, support Biden, support this, support that. It's like, it just feels like balls keep getting dropped. You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. Like, we're doing the best we can here, but you can't be on the cover of Vogue, dude. And we are just dumping money at this guy.
Yeah. It
was a bummer.
Yep.
Okay. Anand?
This hurts me.
Oh,
Live
boy.
Golf Tour.
How dare you?
Why? I thought they had a big day today.
Big PGA
Way too MAGA
guy.
for me. They got Donald Trump playing around with their stars, Dustin Johnson and Byron DeChambeau. Clay Travis is lurking around there. So Liv is just gone full MAGA.
I think I mean, for their sake, I think it's a great
For
move.
I
clicks.
agree. I was the biggest proponent of Live, and now I have to step away.
Like, so you're out on this.
I'm out. I'm PGA, baby. Tiger Woods said what? Earn it in the dirt.
PGA won't exist in 6 months.
Don't you think a lot of the PGA guys, though, are like not the players, but the behind the scenes guys are just doing this privately?
Doing what privately?
You know, they're truck fans. Might go play a couple rounds.
Yeah. What do you think is happening? You shouldn't watch golf. That should be your main thing.
Yeah, you need to just cancel golf as a whole, I think. If you
Yeah,
have a
stick to
problem
basketball.
with Donald.
I bought a basketball. I started shooting hoops again.
Yeah. That's what you should stick to.
that.
Because let me tell
shut
you.
up and dribble on him.
Yeah. Seriously, shut up and dribble. That was a good one. That was really good.
Okay, my loser is this. I don't know if you guys saw this. I guess my loser's us again, the United States again, because apparently there's some internal documents over at TikTok where they were advising their U.S. staff how to respond to press or creator questions. And 3 of the lines were to downplay ByteDance, downplay China, and downplay AI. So they are, however dark you want to read into that, they are actively coaching their staff to downplay China's involvement,
Yeah.
the AI involvement, all of this stuff. And I got to be honest, I love TikTok as an addicting little product on my phone, but I cannot for the life of me figure out why this is allowed. Rogan the other day on his podcast read like the terms of service for TikTok, which this I also don't understand because like the Apple Store was so hard on like Uber and all these people. I don't understand why Apple's letting this too. Well, I do know why, but whatever. And it's like the stuff that they have access to. They have access to everything.
Yeah.
Keystrokes, other apps, everything. And I just can't for the life of me understand why we just don't even like this just happens.
Drama. We're not in a recession. It doesn't matter.
I said this 3 years ago.
TikTok is not owned by China.
It does not. It's not owned by ByteDance. Is an great American.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you said. You're not in a recession. ByteDance says TikTok doesn't own your data. Guess what?
You know what? ByteDance doesn't sound like a Chinese company to me.
No,
Sounds
I
like
love
an
to
American
dance. I
company.
love taking bites of stuff. That doesn't sound like something a Chinese
Americans
person would
love
do.
bites and they love to dance.
Yeah, we're so stupid. We bring Zuck and Tim Cook and Google Sundar to Congress and just yell and scream at them while China's just taking over the country.
TikTok is just a great song that Kesha made.
Let me run a scenario. Imagine news came out today. Oh my gosh, China has malware that has been infecting. It has infected X amount of million phones
150 million people.
in the US, and it allows the Chinese government to see everything in your phone. We
think
would
that-
be freaked the fuck out, and we'd be like, this is the craziest spy accomplishment ever.
Yeah, they talk about like what the CIA can do internationally. I mean, what TikTok did is the biggest kind of spyware in the history of the world.
Yeah, they did it.
That sounds like an American company.
Yeah, that sounds
Americans would only
America
create
won.
the America
Well,
only
American
would create
Dance.
the
I gotta give credit to the American Dancer.
yeah.
The American Dancer created the biggest spyware in
did
the
it.
world.
Yeah, you.
I think there's like a
Shout out to the baby. If he didn't come out with Rockstar, I don't know if TikTok would have ever blown up like it did.
Meg The Stallion. China needs to give Meg The Stallion $1 billion.
Honestly,
that Chris
the
Brown
baby
song-
and Meg The Stallion should be co-chairmans of TikTok. They need that company.
Hey, don't sleep on the Chris Brown song. That had a huge run.
You're
Which
right.
Chris Brown
They should
song?
all have palaces in China.
They should just welcome them in.
How funny it would be if President Xi just sends a 747 to all of them, celebrates them
Should.
at a dinner.
I mean, if I
It's like the
was,
live golf of TikTok.
yeah, I mean, if I was the Chinese government, I would buy a rap label. There's nothing more influential
Oh, yeah.
on America
They probably already
than
have.
rap music.
I mean, let's see what they have shares in. They probably already own one.
Yeah. Like go buy like, Republic and just be like,
Why not?
you know what? All of you need to come here once a year. We'll give you the topics we need you to cover.
Yeah.
Here's $100
all
million
good.
each.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty nuts. I just, it feels, and meanwhile, they just blatantly don't let us do it.
Yeah.
Like that's
No.
what else is crazy. It's like, if it was kind of like tit for tat,
Yeah.
we're in there too, but nope.
Yeah, I mean,
fuck
they
us.
basically have told Facebook you can't acquire anyone of scale.
Yeah.
And that's why they're losing the TikTok. Do you really think if Zuck was allowed acquisitions, he wouldn't have been able to recreate this? Of course he
Yeah.
would have. He did it with Instagram.
But
It's
BuzzFeed is
crazy.
reporting that Instagram is backing off.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
after all the backlash, they're not going to be TikTok
Terrible
Junior.
move. I think they should have gone all in on the TikTok thing.
I think
What's
they got to
your boy,
launch a new app.
Missouri? What's the guy's
Mozeri, Adam Mozeri.
Yeah. They got to launch a new. In my opinion, you got to start fresh. Tactic.
Okay. Cocktail.
Okay, what do we got? Content? What's your content recommendation, D?
So I have one I'm not going to recommend. I thought it was horrendous.
Ooh, I hope it's what I think it is.
Gray Man.
What's
Netflix.
that? Netflix? Oh, is that
I mean,
Ryan
this is like
Gosling?
I think it's the most expensive movie in Netflix's history.
Yeah, it almost
Ryan
got me because that
Gosling,
trailer.
This other white guy that's like pretty famous. I don't recall his name.
Captain America.
Captain America.
Chris
What's his
Evans.
name? Chris Evans. Billy Bob Thornton. I mean, like insane star-studded cast in crazy like explosives and visuals. Unwatchable.
Really?
Unwatchable. I saw this movie. I was like, this movie was made for me. This is perfect.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm reading the description. When the CIA's top asset, his identity known to no one, uncovers agency secrets, he triggers a global hunt by assassins.
That's D.
It's
all day.
amazing.
I would watch that
Terrible.
in a second.
Terrible. That's unwatchable.
Wow.
I cannot recommend not watching this movie enough. It is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Second, I'll actually recommend something. So very similar, Amazon, our good friends over at Amazon who had, booming quarter according to them, they put out a TV show called Terminal List, where
Everyone's
it's the
talking about
Navy
that.
SEALs, shoot, kill.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Everyone's talking about how good that is.
It is insanely violent, crazy plot line to begin with,
Yeah.
but so good. So good.
Okay.
And I
You know, I
had no
believe you on
idea who
this
Chris Pratt is, but love the guy now.
You don't know who Chris Pratt is?
Never seen him in my life.
He's the star of Terminalist?
Yeah.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
okay.
Mhm.
All right.
I
That's a
can't
good
believe
rundown.
Gray
Good-
Man is so bad.
Good content rundown. I'm really glad you said that because I don't even really like those type of movies, but it got me with the trailer and the high
No, my God.
quality
And I'm a big fan of Ryan Gosling. I'm a big Ryan
I
Gosling
love
guy.
Gosling. Who doesn't love Gosling?
Yeah, I can't believe he okayed this.
Everyone just
He
wants that
probably got a
check,
big
man.
check.
The
I'm
studios
sure he got
aren't
like
paying.
$30 million to that movie.
Maybe.
Yep.
That looks like a favor, that movie.
The whole thing.
The whole
It's
thing was
one
a
big
favor.
favor.
He's a big favor.
Well, I think he may have done Gray Man because he knows he's got Barbie coming out next year.
So
Barbie's
he's-
going to be a home run.
You need to be tough.
You don't want to look like Ken.
Needed a tough guy movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Adam, what do you got?
Man, my content's been light. I've seen every movie that's ever come out in the last 6 months.
Can I give you my thing and see if you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you texted me your response. I thought Nope was horrendous.
I read it was horrendous.
I thought it was
the feedback was.
I thought it was fine.
I saw Logan Paul.
yeah,
ripped
Logan
it.
Paul did a rant. Yeah,
Maybe
he did.
that's racist to me.
Is
I
it?
don't know if I'm allowed to even say
Nope.
that. Yeah, like I think it's kind of like I think we're still in the phase where you got to say you like it, so maybe don't put this on TikTok, but to me it was just like all like shock value and like but the story was so just all over the place and like it just wasn't there's a monkey who kills a person and a this and a that and it's I don't know. I hated it.
That's fine.
That's my take. So I'm going to actually join the D train this
And
week.
not recommend.
Also, don't see Nope.
I've been banging out Joe Rogan podcast because it's the dark days of sports. Every tech investor that I thought knew what they were talking about has no idea, so I stopped those two.
Yeah.
Um,
Any highlights?
Football is starting soon, guys.
yeah,
Don't
I
worry.
need NFL back.
America's back.
I don't know. It's just I learned some random facts every time I listen to Joe Rogan. It's kind of crazy. He knows everything. His kind of volume of just like facts that he knows.
Oh,
is
it's
kinda
red
crazy.
pilling. He's a big
No.
red pill guy.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
not
okay. You'll be
doing
back to
cancel
live
me.
golf in no time.
Hey, you're the one who said Nope sucks. You're gonna get canceled.
Well, that's if it's not on TikTok, it never happened.
Exactly.
I just wondered what was going to happen on because I did see a clip of Joe Rogan going on a rant about like not why it's so stupid to ban gay marriage because the Supreme Court kind of alluded to that might be on the table, and I really wondered what was going to happen with the the press. Like if the left, media was going to pick that up and be like, "Oh, he's on our side," but I didn't see.
They didn't
anything
pick it
about
up. I heard that episode. I forget which one that was.
Yeah. Okay.
All
All right. There we go. Any shout outs? No.
Nope.
Shout out to being rich.
Shout out to being rich. Shout out to all-time highs in the economy. Shout out to supply chain running like smooth butter. And shout out to
inflation.
all-time lows on oil.
Gas is cheap.
Things are good.
I saw $5.79 yesterday. Cheap.
Cheap. If you got money this weekend, spend it.
Yeah.
There's more on the way. Everyone have a great weekend.